Welcome back to Grammar Grade 12. This is Unit 3, Lesson 19, and we're going to look at one of the most elegant tricks in the language, how a verb can quietly step in and do the work of an adjective. That's the participle. We'll watch it grow into a participle phrase, learn the one comma it needs, dodge the trap that hides the main verb, and finish with a phrase that stands proudly apart. The absolute phrase. Let's get into it. Let's begin with a small but powerful idea. A participle is a verb form used as an adjective. It's built from a verb, so it still carries a hint of action, but its actual job in the sentence is to describe a noun. Take the racing heart. Racing comes from the verb race, yet here it simply tells us what kind of heart. Or the broken window. Broken comes from break, but it's describing the window. So a participle looks like a verb, but its job is to describe. Keep that split in mind, because it's the heart of the whole lesson. Participles come in two flavors. A present participle always ends in ing, the whispering wind, a glowing screen. A past participle usually ends in ed or en, a frozen lake, the shattered vase. Notice that frozen ends in en and shattered ends in ed. Both are past participles. Both point backward at something already done. The tense label only tells you the ending. Present or past, it's still describing a noun. And that is exactly what makes it a participle. Now let's grow a single participle into a phrase. A participle can gather its own modifiers and objects, and the whole bundle then acts together as one adjective. Look here. The hikers climbing the steep ridge reached the top. The word climbing is the participle, and climbing the steep ridge is the full participial phrase. Watch the arrow. That entire phrase points back to the hikers, telling us which hikers we mean. The phrase works as one big adjective on hikers. So a participle plus its modifiers equals a participial phrase, and it's still doing the describing. Here's the trap the whole lesson has been building toward. A participle is never the main verb of the sentence. Watch two versions. First, the frightened deer bolted. Frightened sits in front of deer, describing it, while bolted is the true verb, the thing the deer actually did. But now, the deer was frightened by the noise. Add the helping verb was, and was frightened becomes the real verb phrase, the predicate itself. So run this quick test. No helper in front of it? Then it's just describing a participle. Has a helper? Then it's the verb. That one question keeps you from ever confusing the two. One small mark saves a lot of confusion. The comma. Read this. Exhausted from the long climb, she sank into a chair. When a participial phrase opens the sentence like that, we set it off with a comma. The phrase describes she, and the comma closes that phrase before the main clause begins. Without it, the reader stumbles right into the next words. So the pattern is simple. Phrase first, then a comma, then the main sentence. Let the comma mark the seam. Finally, meet a phrase that behaves differently, the absolute phrase. An absolute phrase is a noun or pronoun plus a participle, and instead of describing one word, it modifies the whole sentence. It stands grammatically apart. Listen. Her essay finished, she closed the laptop. The chunk, her essay finished, is a noun, essay, joined to the participle finished, and it colors the entire main clause, not just one noun. Here's another. The storm having passed, we stepped outside. Notice how each one sits a little apart, set off by a comma, quietly framing everything that follows. That standing apart quality is exactly what makes it absolute. Let's try a few together. In this first set, I'll give you a sentence, and you decide whether the word is a participle acting as an adjective or part of the main verb, and once, what the phrase modifies. Pause the video and choose before I reveal each answer. The shattered vase lay on the tiles. Ask which word is doing the describing. Shattered has no helping verb in front of it. It just tells us about the vase, while lay is the true action. So shattered is a participle acting as an adjective. The vase had been shattered by the fall. This time, shattered comes with helpers, had and been, sitting right in front of it. That whole string, had been shattered, is the main verb of the sentence. So here, shattered is part of the main verb, not an adjective. Balancing 3 plates, the waiter crossed the room. The opening phrase, balancing 3 plates, is a participial phrase. But who is doing the balancing? The waiter, of course. So the phrase modifies the waiter. Now let's sort participial phrases from absolute phrases and place 1 comma. Remember, a participial phrase describes a single noun, while an absolute phrase stands apart and colors the whole sentence. Pause and choose before I answer. The lecture over, the students filed out. The opening chunk is a noun, lecture, plus the understood participle, being, and it modifies the entire sentence, not one word. That standing apart shape means it's an absolute phrase. Racing against the clock, the chef plated the dish. Here, the opening phrase points straight at one noun, the chef, the one who is racing. Because it describes a single noun rather than the whole sentence, it's a participial phrase. Frozen with fear, the actor forgot his lines. The opening participial phrase is frozen with fear, and an opening phrase needs a comma to close it. That comma belongs right after fear, before the main clause begins. So the comma goes after fear. Let's pull it all together. First, a participle is a verb form used as an adjective. Present participles end in ing. Past participles usually in ed or en, like frozen or shattered. Second, a participial phrase is a participle with its modifiers acting as one adjective. When it opens a sentence, give it a comma, and never mistake it for the main verb. Remember, a helper makes it the verb. And third, the absolute phrase, a noun plus a participle, stands apart and modifies the whole sentence. The way her essay finished frames, she closed the laptop. In our next lesson, lesson 20, we turn to gerunds and appositives, 2 more quiet ways that verbs and nouns do extra work. I'll see you there.